Making an attempt to understand the autistic people in your life is a gesture that they will never forget. I love this video for so many reasons. And even before the hug, if you look on the floor, there's 2 plates with the chicken nuggets there. And it looks as if the guy was on the floor eating with the child. And this is amazing because if you know what autism is, or if you don't, I'll explain. Autism is a condition where the way that you communicate with the world is different from how neurotypical people communicate with the world. So there's almost like a language barrier there. So you may not understand their preferences, how they want their food chopped up. They want their food to be a certain way. They want to eat on the floor. Most people might think that, oh, this is a bad kid. This kid is defiant. We need to punish this kid. Why do you want to eat on the floor? And we're eating at the table. But he came down to a child's level, and it shows that he understands. What a video. This is remarkable. And you have to understand that with autism, this is a population of people where the suicide rates are higher than the general population. Loneliness is higher. The tendency to isolate is higher. And you go through your life feeling like nobody gets it. And one of the main reasons why, if not the number one reason why, you feel isolated as an autistic individual is because you're fighting for this autonomy. And when I say autonomy, just jurisdiction over your life, you want to feel like you're in control of something. When we don't feel in control of things, we get anxious. When we get anxious, we get irritable. The highest form of anxiety is agitation. So that's why a lot of times you see autistic kids get in trouble, meltdowns, temper tantrums. People say, oh, this is a bad kid. We need to punish him. The kids keep getting sent to in-school suspension or out-school suspension, or even an autistic adult. Sometimes, you may have a meltdown and the cops get involved and people are trying to figure out, why is this person so angry? And then people's first thought is, oh, they need to put this kid on, this child or this adult on medications, not understanding that this person has been fighting for autonomy their whole life. The things that we take for granted. A lot of autistic people, they worry so much about it. Autonomy. I've had patients who have told me, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do when my parents pass away. I rely on them for everything. And likewise, a lot of parents feel so anxious. What am I going to do if I'm not here? Who will take care of my child? There's so much thought that goes into day-to-day activities that we take for granted if you're not autistic. So you have to understand that when autonomy is something that you haven't had or something that you've had to fight for your whole life, when people put you in positions to where you can make your own choice, it's the best feeling ever. And it can be a simple gesture, something as small as, oh, you want to eat chicken nuggets on the floor? All right, cool. You want to use this special small spoon or special small fork? All right, cool. You want to eat there? I'll eat with you. Oh, you want to eat outside? I'll eat with you. Oh, you don't want to eat right now? Cool. You don't want to hug this relative? Oh, no worries. You don't have to hug them. Oh, don't feel bad. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. It's Christmas, But if you don't want to hug your uncle, that's fine. You have autonomy over your body. You have autonomy over the things you put in your mouth, the foods that you eat. And this is something that, if you're neurodivergent, you probably understand this fight for autonomy. I have ADHD, but I can't say that I understand the struggles that autistic people have. I've dated a girl who's autistic, my best ex-girlfriend, but a lot of things that she struggled with, she had to tell me, she had to verbalize. I couldn't quite physically see it. So you have to understand that when people are fighting for their autonomy, any small gesture that you do that puts them in control. And parents, you can practice this with your kids where it's, let's say peanut butter or jelly. Hey, you want the peanut butter or the jelly on the bread? Or you want both? What do you want? Something that, it's relatively benign to you could mean the world to your autistic child. So I just want people to understand that autonomy is something that we take for granted every single day. The ability to pick what we want to wear. The ability to choose what we want to do for a career. A lot of autistic people, because of sensory overload, because of overstimulation, because of the support that they may require, there are certain jobs that they can't do. And they know that they can't do these jobs. The homelessness rate is high in the neurodivergent community, especially with autistic individuals, because to hold on a job for this amount of time, and I have to go into the workplace and I have to mask, and this is not who I am, but I have to, play this game so I can make a living. It can be draining, and that's where this autistic burnout comes from. And of course, this is a child, in the video. This is a child, but this starts at a very formative age where you're a child, and you can understand that you're different from other people and you're trying to fit in. And then fast forward a couple of decades later, now you're an adult, fighting for your autonomy, fighting to be understood in a world that's not set up for you to win. That's the truth of the matter. If you're autistic, the world is not set up for your success. So you have to hack it. You have to put a couple of things in place that allow you to feel like a person who's worthy of love, attention, and respect. So just something for those who don't understand what autism is like. I hope this video helps to clear up some things, and you can understand how important autonomy is, how important choice is. So yeah, once again, this is a great video. I had somebody in my community send it to me, and it meant a lot to me. So thank you.
3, 2, 1, get up. 3, 2, 1. I could just go for a walk. It's a nice day outside. Or there are so many things to do. Or go out for lunch. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Get up. Don't want to do it.
Executive dysfunction can be one of the most difficult things that you ever deal with in your life. It can lead to low self-esteem. It can lead to poor confidence. It can lead to bad grades. It can lead to decisions that you make that don't necessarily represent who you are and what you want to do. And you have to understand that when you're neurodivergent, more specifically when you have ADHD, you struggle with this. ADHD is a condition where it's difficult to regulate your mood and your attention. And you have to understand that when you have ADHD, your frontal lobe develops a little bit later than the neurotypical person. And there's this part of your frontal lobe, it's called the prefrontal cortex. This helps you regulate your mood, helps you make decisions, it helps you stay organized. And when there's issues here, there's going to be a lot of issues in your life, which are better explained by the diagnosis of ADHD. You have to understand that when you struggle with executive dysfunction, your whole life can be in disarray. You're going to be in relationships that don't necessarily serve you any good, but we're chasing dopamine, we're chasing that thrill. So we're on this roller coaster of a ride, and it's fun, the highs are really high, but those lows are so damn low. That further taints your self-esteem. And then you go to another person that looks nothing like the previous person, but you're having that same experience. You're struggling to manage your emotions and to regulate your attention and your concentration. And the executive dysfunction can be so damaging because when you are aware of the things that you have to do, but you don't really know how to get them done, it's this, I call it purgatory. It's like a version of hell where you are blindingly aware of the fact that I got to do the dishes, I got to go to the gym, I have to get my homework turned in, I have to mow the lawn, I got to put gas in the car. You know you have to do these things, but you're sitting there on the couch stuck like this. You're not even watching TV, you're just stuck. And the voices are playing in your head, telling you, oh, I got to do this. Oh, yeah, we got to go here, we got to go here. Oh, we got to do this too. Oh, we got to do this too. And then sometimes you'll go as far to get a to-do list, and you write out everything you have to do on the to-do list. You just list that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now you know what you have to do, but you still can't do it. And that's why ADHD is so frustrating, because ADHD, when you grow up with ADHD, you'll hear a couple of things in school. Teachers will say, oh, if he just applied himself, he could be such a good student. I got so tired of hearing that. And you can look at my report card, 2nd grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, high school. Kojo is such a smart student. If he just applied himself, he would do so well in life, but he doesn't want to. He appears to be lazy. He appears to be distracted by other things. He's trying to be the class clown. He's trying to make the girls laugh. Now, I was trying to make the girls laugh, but it wasn't until later that I realized that, okay, I have ADHD, and this condition makes it very hard for me to regulate my mood and to regulate my attention. So when it's a week from the completion of this group project, or the due date, I'm not really focused on it. But the closer we get to this, deadline, all of a sudden, like, I spring into action. Now I'm doing my work. Now I'm focused. And when there's a sense of urgency, an individual with ADHD will get something done. When you are naturally interested in something and you have ADHD, you're going to get it done. And that's why people who don't understand ADHD, they're so confused. They're like, oh, well, how come Johnny he plays the guitar, he's so awesome at the guitar, he could play Call of Duty for hours and hours and hours. But when it comes to math homework, he slacks off. He doesn't want to do his math homework. He doesn't want to do social studies. He goes to class late. It's because he's not naturally interested in these things. And that's okay for Johnny. But we live in a world where if you do things based off of how you feel in the moment, you're going to get penalized. You'll be punished. As an adult, we don't feel like doing our taxes all the time. We don't feel like going to the DMV and updating our license plates when we move to different states. But if you don't do these things, there are serious consequences. And this is where a lot of the pain comes from for people who are neurodivergent, especially those who have ADHD. Now, when you're autistic, you can also struggle with executive dysfunction. I see that a lot. But especially with ADHD, this is something that it can take over your whole life. And when you're able to understand that, all right, I'm not a bad person for knowing what I have to do, but not being able to, not having the tools to follow through with it, then you can liberate yourself of that shame. You have to eliminate the shame. I say this all the time. And I'll be at the International ADHD Conference in Anaheim. And that's all I'll be talking about for my keynote speech. Eliminate shame and implement a system. Because when you're neurodivergent and you struggle to regulate your mood and your attention, you can have this hyperfixation where, all right, we're cleaning the house, we're doing good in school, we're doing all this stuff. But as you know, with a hyperfixation, at some point it's going to end. And then you're just sitting there like, I'm just waiting for the next burst of motivation. It's really difficult to build anything good. It's really difficult to build up your self-esteem when you're living life like that. What I'm saying is that it's not sustainable. So we have to eliminate the shame, number one. Then we need to implement a system for how we're going to live our lives. And with ADHD, also with autism, the suicide rates are higher, as it is with most mental illnesses. With bipolar disorder being the condition where you have the highest suicide risk. But you have to understand that when you have those thoughts of not wanting to be here, it's not that you don't enjoy life. It's just that you can't live life this way. You don't necessarily want to leave. You just don't want to live this way. And the way that you're living is not a way that anybody, if they had those cards, would want to live. So you've got to eliminate the shame, implement a system, then we'll take off like a rocket. So hopefully this made sense. If y'all are going to be in Anaheim on November 16th, I'll see y'all there for the keynote speech. If not, I'll be on live stream. Catch me on live stream for free. Join the Patreon group. The link should be in my bio, depending on what platform you're watching this on. Join the Patreon group. Ask me your questions there. You can sign up for the one-on-one live coaching if you want to, but you could really just join the live stream and catch me for free, and we'll talk through some of these issues. And we'll get you to where you want to be in life, right? Don't forget what I said. Eliminate shame, implement a system. Y'all have a good day.
Parents of kids with special needs, we are not fine. I talk a lot about the mental load of motherhood, but today I want to talk about the mental load of parenting children with special needs.
Being a parent to a child with special needs is one of the most difficult things that a parent can do. You love your child, you're grateful for them, you'll do anything for your kids. But when you realize that the best thing that you can do as a parent for your kids is to take care of yourself, but somehow taking care of your kid takes so much out of you that it's hard for you to be there for yourself. And likewise, it's hard for you to be there for your kids sometimes. This is a very interesting dynamic, and I think a lot of parents are being burnt out. And they're not resenting their kids, but there's a silent depression that's going on where parents feel hopeless, they feel exasperated, they're exhausted. You're constantly worrying about your kids, their safety, their autonomy, or their lack of autonomy, and if they'll ever be able to be okay in this world that's moving so fast. I think one of the best things that we can do is to come together and to give these parents a safe space. I've seen a couple of Facebook groups where, it's parents who have kids with neurodevelopmental disabilities, parents who have kids with certain diseases and conditions. having a safe space where you can talk about these things without judgment is key, because the first thing that other parents will say is, oh, you're a bad parent. You're supposed to take care of your child at any cost. How dare you say that you are burnt out from taking care of your kids? You must not have wanted your kids. But until you've been in this situation, you really can't speak, because you don't know how unique of a challenge this is, and you don't know the anxiety that these parents experience on a day-to-day basis. I think being a parent in 2024 is very difficult with the things that are happening in the news, with the things that kids can get into. And anybody who's a parent is going to be anxious, a bit more anxious than, the person who doesn't have kids. I understand that. But when you're parenting a child on the spectrum, or you're parenting a kid with ADHD, or you're parenting a child who has special needs, it takes so much out of you, for mom and for dad, or for whoever's a caregiver. It takes so much out of you. And then the first thing that normally happens is a drop in self-care. You're not able to do things that you enjoy doing. You're not able to spend time with your friends. You're isolating, and your whole world becomes taking care of your child. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't take care of your child, but it's still important to pour into yourself and the things that you enjoy doing. Maybe you're a parent and you like playing the piano, or you like playing guitar, or you like going on hikes with your friends. I'm from Ghana, West Africa, and we always say that it takes a village to raise a child. And I know in this environment, with things being so expensive, and certain places that don't have as much of a community feel, it's really difficult to feel like you have other people who can take care of your child the same way that you can take care of your child. And sometimes this is not possible, even with babysitters and daycares. So you feel compelled to be the only one there for your child. I understand that, and that's a good thing. But if you have any other people in your life, like maybe your mom or your dad, or a trusted family member, I think that's very important to say, because if you're going to leave your kids with somebody, we got to make sure that these are trusted people. But utilizing your community to give you some time to breathe, to give your brain some time to not be in fight or flight mode, is going to allow you to be a more present parent for your child. But I really think that there's this element of shame, where a lot of other parents have opinions on the parents of kids with special needs. And it's really difficult to divorce yourself from the opinions of these other parents, because they'll make you feel like you are the worst parent in the world, while they have no idea what you're going through. So I think it's important to eliminate the shame first and foremost, and to give each parent a safe space to just get their frustrations out. It doesn't mean that you hate your child. You love your child, and you know that you're a good parent. You know that you're a good parent because you have the evidence to support that. Your child has all their needs taken care of. You overextend yourself for your kids, and you're a present parent to the best of your ability. But it's very important to eliminate that shame that comes with feeling like you're not always there for your kids. And I promise you, when you're not constantly in fight or flight mode, and you have some time to breathe, you'll not only be a better parent for your kids, but you'll also be a better person for yourself. So now we're killing two birds with one stone.